There's two major things that keep most companies from scaling their engineering teams. I want to tell you about recent conversations I had with some of our actual customers at Fullscale and how they're trying to scale their teams and the struggles that they're having. I'll give you a little hint. Unknown leaders can't delegate unknown work. To survive and thrive, you must adopt a product-driven mindset. Scaling any business is about people and process. We know that. I manage 300 employees here at Fullscale. I've managed multiple SaaS companies. And of course, as a business leader, I will tell you employees are a pain in the neck. So we need to hire more of them. But that's the reality. Business is all about people. And before you can hire these people you need, you've got to hire the right people. You got to have the right processes and leadership in place to grow and scale. But that all starts with first knowing what to build. So my first feedback for you is you've got to have a product roadmap and strategy. You can't have undefined work. Let me give you an example of this. I was talking to one of our great customers in Kansas City this week. They've got 4 developers from Fullscale. They've got 20 altogether. And like, Matt, we want to move faster. We want to go in 2025. But we don't know what to build. We meet with all the different business leaders and all the different stakeholders, and we can't agree on what direction to go with the business and the product strategy. And so we have to wait. And they're absolutely right. You don't want to hire developers and you don't know what to tell them to do. You have to define the work before you can grow the team. This is a very, very common problem. I talked to another entrepreneur this week that had tried doing offshore in Vietnam, and that was exactly the issue they had. They had 5 developers in Vietnam, but nobody knew what to tell them to do. Like, they didn't have a business analyst, a product manager, or somebody to help run the team and delegate the work. And that's a huge struggle. And that gets me to point number 2. A lot of companies, when they first start out, they've got a CTO, a head of engineering, a director, a lead developer, whatever you want to call this person. And the struggle is, are they good at managing people? A lot of software developers, like myself, I will say 20-something years ago, didn't like to manage people. I want to go solve complicated problems. I want to write the code. I want to be the hero. I want to solve the big things. And it's a struggle for a lot of us to make that transition from being an individual contributor to a software development manager. It's a different type of job and a different kind of career. And a lot of us don't want to give up being in the code. But if you don't have somebody that can manage other people, you really can't hire other developers to delegate the work to. You're always going to have these struggles. When I talked to one of our recent customers, he had 2 employees at Fullscale, and he's got a lead developer here in Kansas City. But I asked him, I'm like, when you go to your lead developer and you ask them, oh, what are the offshore developers doing? What is the rest of the team doing? His response is something like, well, I don't have time to manage those people. I don't have time to review their work. You can't scale. You can't scale if this is the situation that you're in. Your engineering team and your business, if you're building a product that drives your business, is never going to grow. So what do? Well, you can't afford to hire an expensive like VP of engineering and CTO and principal engineer and all these people, which could each cost like $200,000 a year. I get it. I understand. So what I did at Stackify several years ago with my previous SaaS company, we had a CTO, and then I hired solution architects is what we called them. They were really more of a player coach. So there's somebody that could coach a small team of 3 or 4 people. They were very comfortable leading a small team, but they were also an individual contributor. So they were a player and a coach both. And I feel like those people, if you can find those people, are really, really good in small companies when you don't have this bigger organization and process and scale all figured out. You just need somebody who can manage a small team really, really well, but they're also very technical and they can jump in and solve the hard problems, help drive architecture decisions. They're almost like a mini CTO that likes to manage people because that's the critical thing. And when you go to hire a lead developer, you really have to have heart-to-heart conversations with them of like, hey, do you like solving hard problems or do you like managing people? That's really critical. You have to make sure when you're hiring these people, you know they will manage people, because if you don't, you're never going to grow and scale. Lastly, there's one other thing that's really important, and that's trust. Whoever you hire, you've got to be able to trust this person. Some of you may be working with a completely outsourced offshore development team. I talked to another entrepreneur recently that was in the situation like, hey, I have a developer in Pakistan. I don't like the work from this person. The communication is hard. I just can't count on them. I don't trust them. And guess what? She can't scale her business. She can't grow her engineering team. She can't grow her business because she doesn't have a partner or a software engineering team that she can trust. So if you're in that situation, it's the same thing. You need a new partner. You've got to have somebody that you can trust. And that's critical in any form of business or team. If you have members on your team you can't trust, you got to make some hard decisions about potentially going a different direction. So if your company is struggling with how to scale your engineering team, these are some of the things that I really wanted you to think about today. Starts with product. You got to have the right product plan, and you've got to have a manager or managers on your team that are good at managing other people. There are actually 3 different kinds of engineering managers. You've got strategy, operations, and technical. I'm gonna do some other videos about that, but potentially you need all 3 of those, and there are potentially 3 different people as a company grows. At a small company, you've got to find people that can do both at least a little of the operations side, like how to run a team and make strong technical decisions. And if you can't do the strategy part, which might be more the C-level part, you definitely need some operations part to grow and scale the team. All right, good luck to you guys, and we'll see you on the next episode of Product Driven.